How water resistant is that book?
I'm guessing not very water resistant. Good book though, actually. I really enjoyed it. I don't always read the Cartiers every night. Let's go. What is up, YouTube? It's James from Robin Henry Watches.
James, what are you wearing?
I am wearing the Cartier Tank Solar Beats.
Of course you are.
Changed the strap again of that horrible
Well,
green
actually,
thing.
I like that.
It's nicer, but it's still not right. I'm thinking a nice crocodile, but not crocodile. Listen, I don't want to cut crocodile.
It's fine.
No, it's not. It's not bad, but it's a bit short. Like even on my tiny wrist, look at it. It needs a new strap.
Where are you buying these from?
I use Watch Obsession a lot, as well as obviously I talk about cheapest NATO straps, but I get my better ones from Watch Obsession, which is a UK, and they ship everywhere anyway. So I get a lot from them. But although I buy a lot of straps, and I've got like about 100 in there, they're all cheapies. I've ordered. I'll do a video on it when it comes. I have ordered a strap from. Let me just check the name here. A gentleman who's called the Strap Tailor.
The Strap Tailor.
So he's custom making me a crocodile watch strap, but it's not crocodile. Before anyone like crocodile, people like it's just embossed on the top to look like that. He's making me a nice one in forest green.
You better hope you like it then.
Yeah. But he'll customize it as well, whatever you want. He's on Instagram at the. I guess at the Strap Tailor.
The Strap Tailor, yeah.
And well, Google it, you'll find it. But we'll do a review of that one when it comes in because it's going to be about a month. I bought that one for the Tudor.
Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah.
Right. The Tudor that's for sale.
The Tudor that's for sale.
Right, okay.
I've ordered a £150 strap for it. But I'm going to get an updated one for this one. And by the time this video lands, I will have another Cartier in my collection, which has been in my collection, is gone, and it's pretty out there.
It is a bit.
But I'm not going to ruin the surprise.
No.
We'll save that for it'll be like a month or so.
I know it's gonna be basically Christmas.
But anyway, we are here today, gathered here today.
Talk about something big. Turn your phone
I know,
off.
I'm so unprofessional. I was telling me to take my vitamins.
Of course. We've got something big to talk about.
Very big.
And not in the good way.
50mm big.
It's not okay.
Well, let's get into it. So we're going to be talking about the new Rolex Deepsea challenge. Unlike the rest of the world, I didn't know it came out because I was locked out of my Instagram account, but no one told Rolex. They put out this release, and I don't read all the blogs and the forums like I used to, because now I'm such a big star. I just don't.
You get your information mailed to you direct from Rolex.
One, I guess I am a lot busy these days, but two, more than I guess I'm just a bit lazy. Like blogs like Hodinkee, I started following that from when it first came out, and it's changed a lot. It's very much a commercial enterprise these days. I don't read as much. The watch forums, in fact, I think we did an episode on watch forums, or I certainly talked about it at one point.
It came up.
And it's all a bit too big for me these days.
Yeah.
And there's some great guys, and I learned a lot of my knowledge from watch forums, but I just don't spend my time there anymore.
Forums are really on their way out, broadly speaking, as well.
I think some of the watch forums are still great for if you're UK, TZ UK is great. Just avoid the bear pit and some of the wankers in there, and don't ask about Sales Corner. The Rolex forum, but it's very much like
it's very elitist. It's like r/Rolex on Reddit.
There's a bit of bro culture in there. What else? There's that one, Watch You Seek.
Yeah.
Time zones, but that's certainly kind of had its days. So anyway, I don't know why we're digressing to that. But anyway, I've caught myself up a little bit. I'll be honest. So my initial reaction before educating myself on it and looking at it was, don't care. What the fuck? It's huge. Not interested.
What everyone's saying, basically.
But I've changed my opinion, I would say. I think, listen, there's two major things to talk about with it. One, it's finally time and it's that Rolex has done a watch in titanium.
Yeah.
Obviously, in my mind, they explored that avenue via Tudor with the Pelagos. I'm trying to do that guy's voice again. Pelagos to swim, Pelagos to have sex in, whatever. And then the other thing is obviously the depth rating is fucking insane.
No humans going down there.
Oh, humans have gone. Well, not like
once
in a submarine of sorts. But yeah, those are the two major points. Do you know what I find is really funny? Is that Amiga this year obviously put out what's their thing they put out, the giant.
Oh, I want to get to it before you do. I was going to say the Sea Dweller, but that's a totally different watch and brand. Ultra Deep.
That's the one.
The Ultra Deep.
It
was a Planet Ocean, wasn't it?
So yeah, what I found funny is that Amiga have only just released their Ultra Deep, which is to 6,000 meters, and they put it out there like fuck you. But you can just imagine, like Amiga swings into the party, the balls are swinging, slapping against the thighs,
and they only just beat it as well,
thinking they're Billy Big Balls, and then Rolex just comes out, boom.
What are you gonna do?
Slaps its 20-inch on the table, and yeah,
it is what it is.
Who wants the Ultra Deep now? I mean, it's probably a bit more wearable, maybe.
Probably a better watch in general.
Well, maybe.
Ignore the depth rating.
So let's just quickly talk about some of the specs. I mean, first of all, it's made in RLX titanium, which is just Rolex version of titanium. What's interesting though is that Rolex have said they've been experimenting with titanium for years. And from what I hear, that shows in that the overall quality and the finishing. They did some funky polishing on the lugs, which is like a bit of an old school nod. Yeah. So they're all they're just kind of all the way out. So I think that's cool. And when they got I don't want to get too much into the specs, but when they did the patent for the ring lock system, that was all the way back in 2007, and they mentioned on there about the use of titanium, about some of the internal parts being titanium. So anyway, yeah, it's titanium, so it's surprisingly light. Apparently, obviously, I haven't seen or handled one, but I think
surprisingly light in that it's about as heavy as something like a Sea
It's not
Dweller.
as heavy as what you think it is. Like when you put on, let's say the Deepsea, the normal Deepsea, the 44 millimeter.
I reckon it's probably going to weigh about the same, but proportionally, obviously you expect it to be
so it's 50 millimeter. I mean,
I'm not even so worried about the diameter, it's the thickness.
Is it 25?
It's about that. It's huge. You put it next to a Sea Dweller or something, it's ridiculous. Absolutely, it's like double the height.
Sorry, the thickness is 23 millimeters, which is, it's a thick watch. But I think before we get to who's buying this watch and who's wearing it, I think it's important to look back at the history of what Rolex has done in terms of its innovation. And if you look back on that perspective, you'll get a better, more holistic picture.
Yeah.
Put on elevator music.
Ding, ding. I might actually do that. It could be funny.
No, don't. So, yeah, you think the Submariner they bought out in 53. That was their first, obviously, full, we've arrived. Then you get the Sea Dweller in 67. And then in 2008, you get the Deepsea. And now obviously we have the Deepsea Challenge. So I think there's always been that history, and obviously they've been doing the innovations along the way.
Yeah.
This is absolute, the more you think about it, this is exactly more the sort of thing that Rolex would do. It's a part of their DNA, they've always been doing it. I guess the surprise for me in the titanium part is it's just taken too damn long to come out. The
everyone else has done
Pelagos,
titanium.
It's made more sense, and I've said for years I think it's better than the Deepsea. Now the titanium is a harder metal to work with apparently, and that's why a lot don't do it. But then you say that, but it's like, well, everyone, like you just said, everyone's done a titanium watch, so they're
late to the party, but they've come in with like the best suit on.
It's difficult to work with, fine, I accept that, but it's not that difficult to work with because everyone else has been doing it for some time.
Yeah.
You know,
That's the thing.
from
Everyone's
big
just
brands
accepted it.
to smaller brands. So there's obviously the history. They did the watch for James Cameron when he went down into the Mariana Trench. Sorry, my phone's still beeping. Sorry.
Naughty.
And they put that watch together for him in 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, why are you taking so long? The very earliest models that they did of this, I think this is the third kind of deep sea challenge-esque watch that they've done. There was a video on Hodinkee with a guy who's got one, and he said it was quite wearable. I'm not sure that's the case.
I didn't buy it.
But basically, obviously, the glass is just so thick on the other one. So the way that they've got around that is the ring lock system.
Yeah.
They've used titanium knots. So essentially, as it goes down deeper, without getting too much into it, the pressure is put on there. Obviously, it's got a helium escape valve as well to release the molecules that you're putting pressure on the watch.
A good-looking helium escape valve, I might add.
The reason that it's just not so thick is because of the technology they put into it. Is brought it down to a wearable level.
I think the problem is people are just having the first gut reaction, looking at it, and just it's literally they've taken a Seadweller, but with the way it's proportioned, it just looks like
you've got to look at this in the right way. It's not a dive watch that you're wearing to go surfing in or swim in the holiday pool. If you look at it for what it is, it's a collector's piece as part of their DNA.
It's a flex piece.
They've done some other interesting bits. They've omitted a date window, which they normally have on, like, for example, like deep seas and sea dwellers. It's always been there because it's for like, what's the right word? For divers that actually work and that can spend quite often days underwater. If you're working on your underground,
with your little
pipe.
James Bond villain base.
They what's the word that they use when you I know the word for it, where you acclimatise as you go down. Divers.
Oh, the like decompression type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So exactly that. So they can be down for days. This obviously, if you're going anywhere near that depth, it's not something that you're doing for days. It's something that you're doing a few hours. So they've chucked that out. The text on the dial is pretty insane because there's a lot. Because there is
it's very full. Rolex,
Oyster Perpetual, Deep Sea Challenge, Sea Dweller, 11,000 is feet first, then 11,000 meters.
Chronometer.
Then the chronometer, and then officially certified. And they also managed to get in the ring lock system in the rehaught.
Did they put Swiss made on it? They must have done.
Yes, sorry, I missed that. What I do like is that it's got a very nice matte dial, which it's almost a bit of a vintage nod to put a matte dial on there. And like I said, that the polishing on the lugs is also very vintage-esque.
Yeah.
And then the more that I think about it in that way, I'm actually, I've come round to it. Would I buy one? Probably not. No. But
you probably would buy one. You want to sell it within 6 weeks.
Well, that's me, yes. But would I like it in my collection? Yes. I think it's a cool piece of engineering from what. I love the fact that it's just pissed all over Amiga's party. For now. Do you know what the retail price is?
It's in the 20s. I think for us it's about 19k, I think, in Guernsey. But I think it was
I'd love to handle one. If anyone's got one in Guernsey, which I'm sure they don't, but if there is one out there, call me. I'd love to just handle it.
Yeah.
They did a lot, like the engineering. They worked with Comex again on the pressure tanks to, test it because they generally they test it 10% above its rating.
Yeah.
Which shows you the work. Like, let's be honest, commercially, is it going to pay for itself? I don't think so. I mean, maybe over decades, but I think it is a flex by Rolex. It's just like the most technically capable dive watch on the planet.
It's interesting that it's still on an Oyster bracelet. Like, they haven't done anything different. It shows how timeless the Oyster bracelet is and how
and you've got the the flip lock and glide lock extension on there, so it will go over like you'll swim 11,000 meters. I made it right back up. I think it's a good.
It's cool.
But like I said, they put the technology into it now. It's a massive flex.
I just think it just tickles me because it looks like someone stretched it on Microsoft Paint. Because it's obviously it's gone wider in diameter as it's got thicker, but it's got so much more thicker and only so little wider. I know 10 mils a lot, but
I think
it's
they've done with it. I mean, I think the crystal's like 9 millimeters of thickness. I believe
it's like doubled in thickness from a deep sea, but only a fifth larger in diameter.
And it's not. I think the Pelagos came out in 2012. So it's like taken them 10 years.
What is interesting to me is they haven't done anything with that. Obviously, they've done
I think the Pelagos, just going back to, obviously, I know like titanium dive watches are kind of hot this year because they've got the new Pelagos 39. But I don't know if this has been confirmed anywhere, but I think the 42mm has been discontinued.
Well, this is the thing.
I don't think it's available. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I had a customer looking for one and I couldn't get one.
No. I say it's interesting to me, like this would have been such a good investment to put Tudor really on the map, because they had the technology. They wouldn't do it because they'd have to save it for Rolex.
Well, that's what I think. It doesn't fit with Tudor's DNA.
No, but if they
it does with Rolex.
If they wanted to skyrocket Tudor though in the media for a while, would have been.
I would love to know what the real marketing plan is for Tudor.
What's the goal?
What it feels like is they feed not just creative ideas into Tudor, but it's more like we know you can't always have your Rolex, so when we don't allow you to have it, have a Tudor.
Yeah.
That's where you send people, the people that can't always get the Rolex because they're not getting their allocation of 3 a year. Send them to Tudor. Mm-hmm. And I think Tudor's doing a lot of great things with their releases this year. The sapphire casebacks, I'm still not happy about that. It's cost me a lot of money, that. But outside that, Tudor doing a lot of great things. I think the Pelagos 39 missed a few points for me personally, but I love the 42mm. If they could have taken the 42mm and scaled it down to 39 or even 40, I'd buy that watch. They
kind of did. They just went too hard on the scaling down.
But maybe that was, like I talked about in that video, maybe that was my perception of it. And I think that's really important with the Deepsea Challenge is, if you're not looking at it from the point of view of like, I'm not going to wear that, what do I want that for? But if you look at it from the point of view of, Rolex and their history and their DNA and their evolution, they're not making it for everyone. They're like, listen, it's there if you want it. I mean, I don't know if you can get it, but probably not.
It's showing up in a lot of ADs, but I think most as a showy piece at the moment. So there's quite a few showing up on
you'll have
Reddit.
people buying it that just want to flip it.
Yeah.
Then you actually have genuine collectors that aren't going to wear it, but they'll just keep it in their collection. Yeah. I mean, let's say if I was inclined to buy it, I would have it. It'd be the sort of thing I take to a watch meet.
Yeah.
And be like, yeah, I got the Deepsea Challenge. I mean, with these wrists,
you feel validated for all of an hour.
I mean, I can make the tank look like it's a reasonable sized watch. So here's the thing. Years ago, I bought the Deepsea James Cameron.
Yes.
And I actually wore that. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. Could have been winter time because, if I wear a big watch, I can get away with it if I've got a jumper on.
Yes.
But then what happens is when it comes to the summer and I'm wearing a t-shirt, it looks very silly.
Yes.
And my decisions need to be questioned.
You could apply that to a lot of things, though. But yeah. Well, I think that's about there.
Tell us your thoughts.
Oh, I want you to sell me a watch.
Well,
sell me something. It's Wolf of Wall Street. Sell me this watch.
Well, this watch is not for you, sir.
Is it not?
It's for the woman in your life.
Well, with wrist the size of mine, who knows?
So we have the Omega Seamaster Aquaterra.
As we found out whilst listing, it's actually called, it's not Mother of Pearl, but it's Mother of Pearl.
I was about to say
White.
150 meters, and it is.
It is.
But I didn't have I was like, oh, I don't know if it is. So this has, it's not a complete set. It has all the original box and paraphernalia, but it doesn't have the original warranty card. But what it does have is, I've just had it serviced by Omega. So it has the Omega service paperwork. It also has a 2-year warranty. The selling points of this watch, twofold.
Well, it's an Aquaterra.
Well, first of all, I'm going down the diamonds route.
Well, yeah.
It's factory set Omega diamond bezel, diamond markers on the dial. and it's only £3,600, which is insanely cheap. This watch right now, if you're talking the VAT-free price, is around just over 9,000.
Huge, yeah.
If you're talking, you know, UK European, you're talking well over 10. I think it's nearly 11 grand. The equivalent. It's got a 2-year warranty. It's a cool watch.
It's nuts.
Diamonds. I mean, I love diamonds, so for me, I'd probably try wearing it. But
I think if it was about 5 mil bigger, you'd just buy it.
yeah, probably.
I mean, you did
buy it again. But yeah, awesome watch to get that special someone at Christmas. Or, I don't know if we've got any female viewers, buy it for yourself, be a boss.
You never know.
3,600.
Send it to your mate the watch bringer, or whatever she goes by.
It's not for me, that. But, maybe, I don't know, to be fair, I'm being a little unfair there. I'd have to watch the channel.
And if you know, you like your old bits, there's this.
Well, that is a good point with Amiga, because what they do is they will always send you the parts that they've replaced from service. So you've got the seals, 2 spring bars, which look disgusting.
Stem as well.
You got the crown there.
Those are spring bars, aren't they?
Spring bars, yeah. Some screws which they've replaced. So yeah, it's fully serviced, 2 years of warranty. The value proposition. The cost of the equivalent Rolex as well. Different.
Don't even go into it.
And
it's functional.
All
the seals work. It is a dive watch by most standards.
You could literally put this watch on, wear it every day for 10 years and not worry about it. And for £3,600 with that many diamonds.
And very topically.
I do have the box and everything for it. It's just in the service kit. It's literally just come back.
Very topically, given how deep people are actually going to go, that is as functional to you as the Deepsea challenge.
Yeah, I mean, most people, from my experience of reading about diving, most people
100 meters tops.
Oh, that's about 40 meters. I bought this novel by a guy that...
Is it called The Cartiers by?
No, it's not. It's by a guy that actually sometimes writes for Hodinkee. It was his first novel. A guy called Jason Heaton. So he writes them, and he wrote this novel called Depth Charge.
Yes, I'm aware of it.
I think he also does... Is he a guy that does it with James Stacey, that does the Grey NATO podcast?
I don't know on that.
Possibly. But he does a lot of... I think he does articles for Gear Patrol as well. But yeah, that was his first novel. Really cool. I'd never really read much into diving, because as far as I dive is the
bathtub,
the jacuzzi at the health spa up the road. My jacuzzi bath in there. I know. I'm making it sound a lot more grand than what it is. Or a pool when I go on holiday. But yeah. How
water resistant is that book?
I'm guessing not very water resistant. Good book though, actually. I really enjoyed it. I don't always read the Cartiers every night. Sometimes
those are very white pages. It's normally a kind of yellowed colour. They're very white.
We're not reviewing like...
Yeah, I know. It's just an oddment that's just kind of caught my attention. Anyway.
What's your pick in the shop right now? If you
my pick in the shop right now?
I've got one which, other than...
I mean, I just bought my pick in the shop
it's
right
insane
now.
Value. We have got... Probably by the time that this comes out, they might be back. A Submariner Date and an Explorer 2, the 216570. They should be back from polish, which I'm also going to review because I sent it to the watch polisher.
I'm going to be honest, it's been sat there a little while, but it's the vintage Amiga, the 2576.
The honeycomb dial?
No, the other one.
Oh, you lose
the gold-plated one. I actually really like
No, mine's the honeycomb dial. That's my pick.
Well, if we ever go bust, we can go 50-50. You can have the honeycomb and I'll find a way to pay you for the other.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember you putting money in on these. So I'm not going 50.
No, just blood, sweat, tears and my dignity, but
Dignity's overrated.
It is.
Do you need dignity?
You sell your dignity on a daily basis.
What's dignity ever done for anyone?
That's a good point. That's why everyone gets rid of it on the internet. Flash your tits or get your wang out and send it to everyone in your...
Anyway, this is going massively off topic right now.
Buy the 2576, I like it, it's cool. Or is it the 2846? it's a 2846.
I don't know, I'm not up there on Amiga reference numbers. A guy asked me the other day, the guy bought Day, shout out to Jacob, he asked for one of the Amigas for me to take up. It was the honeycomb dial, which I can't remember. I looked at the reference and I was like, oh, I don't know.
That's because it's about 20 digits long with
That's
a dot at
That's
random.
the only thing. Well, no, you got the 4-digit reference.
Well, yeah.
But maybe that's what I take the piss out of the nicknames, but the nicknames make it easy to remember.
I'll tell you what is very good from Amiga though. You can look up pretty much any reference and they've got it in their archive.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I'll tell you what is actually good from Amiga, and this is getting even more off topic. If you send in a vintage Amiga for service, it goes to their museum department. And I had a watch go off there. It was a Speedmaster Mark II from...
Oh, nice.
I think it was late 70s.
Love the Mark II.
Yeah, super cool. Racing dial.
Cushiony casey.
And I tried buying one recently, but missed out on one. And they do what you ask, and they send you all of the parts back. So if they replace something and you agree to it, they send you the original parts back. So if you sell that watch to someone else, and let's say they took the bezel off or the bracelet, they send it back.
Yeah.
Take note, Rolex.
There's a lot Rolex can learn from that. I think Rolex would do well to have a museum RFID.
They don't have to. They're just like, f*** you.
Well, exactly.
Watch.
You get what you're given.
We let you wear it.
It is a long-term lease.
You send it into us. It's our watch. We'll do what we
lease.
want to it, and you'll pay me for it.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
So, anyway.
On that bombshell, I bid you adieu.
Adieu.
Adieu.